The vast hall of the Zereth Prime Council glowed with a cold, bluish light. Towering walls stretched high above, filled with alien symbols that no human had ever seen. At the center of the room, a circular platform hovered slightly above the ground, where the ambassadors of countless worlds had once stood. Today, it was Earth's turn. Lena Marsden, Earth's ambassador, took a deep breath. Her heart raced faster than it ever had before. She had trained for this moment for years. Every negotiation, every simulation, every warning from Earth's leaders had led to this single moment, standing before the most powerful council in the galaxy. And yet, nothing could prepare her for the silence that greeted her as she entered the hall. The alien council was already waiting. They were enormous, with shimmering bodies that shifted colors like liquid metal. Their eyes, or what passed for eyes, glowed in shades of violet and gold. They did not move like humans. They hovered and flowed, like smoke caught in the shape of beings. Their voices, when they spoke, were deep, vibrating tones that made the air itself seem to hum. Lena cleared her throat. "I am Lena Marsden, Ambassador of Earth. I come in peace, seeking dialogue for the safety and prosperity of all our worlds." One of the aliens, larger than the rest, stepped forward. Its presence alone made Lena feel smaller than she had ever felt. It spoke a single word, a sharp, commanding sound that made the ground tremble slightly. Then, it raised a hand, and an invisible barrier sealed her mouth. Panic rose in Lena's chest. She tried to speak, but no sound came out. The alien council continued their discussion, ignoring her struggles. It was clear they had no intention of letting Earth speak. Lena realized with a cold shock that this was no ordinary negotiation. Something far worse was about to happen. Meanwhile, on Earth, the council chamber at the United Nations was buzzing. Screens lit up with images from space monitoring stations. Strange energy readings had appeared near the orbit of Zereth Prime, spikes that were far beyond normal. Scientists whispered to each other, their faces pale. Something was happening, but no one knew exactly what. Back on Zereth Prime, Lena struggled against the invisible force. Her hands clawed at the air. Then she noticed a small device, tucked near the edge of the platform. If she could reach it, perhaps she could disable the barrier, or at least send a signal to Earth. Every second counted, but the aliens were watching closely. One of the smaller council members drifted closer, its form twisting in a strange spiral. Lena's mind raced. She remembered her training, calm under pressure, think fast, act faster. Reaching with all her strength, she grabbed the device. A jolt of energy ran through her, and the barrier flickered. For a brief moment, her voice returned. She shouted, trying to warn Earth, but the signal was weak, garbled. In the distance, Earth's leaders were beginning to understand. A faint transmission had arrived, distorted and incomplete. Lena's message was unclear, but the urgency was undeniable. Scientists tried to decode it, but time was slipping away. Inside the alien hall, the council's conversation grew more heated. They spoke of humans as if they were insects, creatures to be controlled or destroyed. Lena realized with horror that silencing her was not enough. They planned something catastrophic. She needed to act now. She studied the device in her hand. It was unlike anything she had seen, pulsing with alien energy, wires floating in the air, and symbols that moved like living things. Lena had only one chance. She pressed a sequence she hoped was correct. The device responded with a bright flash of light. Suddenly, alarms echoed through the hall. Council members shifted, their bodies writhing in anger or panic. Lena's barrier vanished. She could speak again, but the council's attention had turned fully to her. They did not expect her to fight back. On Earth, the transmission became clearer. Lena's voice, though strained, finally got through. Earth, prepare Zereth weapon now. Then the signal cut off abruptly. Static filled the screens. Lena knew the aliens would act soon. She felt the platform beneath her shift, and a section of the floor opened, revealing a pit of glowing energy. The council had a weapon ready, a force capable of annihilating entire planets. Lena swallowed her fear. She had one job now: survive and warn her people. The alien council's movements became frantic. Lena used the confusion. She leapt toward a hidden exit she had noticed when she first entered the hall. The corridor was narrow, the walls glowing faintly, guiding her path. Behind her, the council shouted in their vibrating tones, sending waves of energy that pushed her forward. Every step felt like running through fire. Lena's lungs burned, but she could not stop. She remembered Earth, her home, her family, the billions of people who depended on her. She could not fail. Not now. Finally, Lena reached a chamber filled with alien machinery. A control panel glowed at the center, and she realized it might be her only chance to stop the weapon. Hands shaking, she touched the controls. Alien symbols blinked and shifted under her fingers, responding to her touch in ways she could not understand. Yet somehow, she felt she could manipulate it. A warning alarm blared. Time was almost up. Lena focused every ounce of her mind and pressed a sequence, hoping it would trigger a lockdown or at least delay the weapon. The machinery hummed, then shuddered. Energy readings fluctuated wildly. The council's panic grew. Outside the chamber, Earth scientists were watching the energy spikes. The readings went crazy. Something massive was happening near Zereth Prime. Then, a blinding flash of light erupted across space. Debris, fire, and shockwaves spread in all directions. Communication with Lena was lost. For a moment, silence fell. Everyone waited, holding their breath. Then, faint signals returned. Lena's voice, weak but alive, came through. Earth, we survived for now. The camera pans over the alien capital, now in chaos. Fires burn, buildings collapse, and the council members are scattered, their control over the weapon broken. Lena stands amidst the ruins, battered but determined. She knows this is only the beginning. Back on Earth, leaders watch the transmission in awe. Humanity had survived the unimaginable. But the message was clear. The galaxy had changed forever. Aliens now knew that humans were not to be underestimated. Lena takes a deep breath, looking at the stars beyond. She knows the next battle is coming. And this time, Earth will be ready. The unexpected turning point had come, not just for Lena, but for all of humanity. Silence had been broken, chaos had begun, and a new chapter in the galaxy was unfolding. The stars above Earth twinkled calmly, as if nothing had changed. But deep in orbit, satellites picked up strange energy spikes near Zereth Prime. Scientists stared at the readings in disbelief. Nothing in human history had prepared them for this. The energy pulses were massive, chaotic, and deadly. At the United Nations Emergency Chamber, alarms blared. World leaders gathered around glowing screens, watching as the alien weapons' effects rippled across space. No one knew exactly what Lena had done, only that the flashes had been enormous, far larger than any human weapon could produce. Panic mixed with hope. Humanity had survived somehow. Back on Zereth Prime, Lena crouched behind a shattered console, her breaths heavy, her body covered in dust and alien ash. The alien council was in chaos. Fires burned through the corridors, alien soldiers fled, and smoke filled the air. She knew she could not stay. Every second here was dangerous. Lena's mind raced. She had only delayed the weapon. She had no idea how much damage had already been done. She needed to return to her ship, warn Earth fully, and prepare humanity for the unknown. But the corridors were treacherous. Twisting hallways, collapsing ceilings, and alien patrols made every step a fight for survival. As she moved, she found an alien communication terminal. It hummed with energy, displaying streams of alien symbols. Lena hesitated, then decided to use it. Her fingers moved over the panel, trying sequences she had memorized during her training. A moment later, she transmitted a message back to Earth. Prepare. They're stronger than we imagined. Weapon may strike again. On Earth, scientists scrambled to decode her message. It was urgent but incomplete. The energy spikes continued, erratic and increasing in intensity. Military leaders debated. Should they mobilize a defensive strike or wait for more information? The clock was ticking. Humanity was unprepared for what was coming. Meanwhile, Lena continued deeper into the alien capital. She came across a chamber that seemed like a library or archive. Alien technology floated in midair, data streams flowing like rivers of light. Lena's curiosity pulled her closer. If she could understand this technology, she might find a way to prevent another attack. Hours passed, though it felt like minutes. Lena studied the alien data carefully. Symbols and codes danced in her vision, alien logic intertwining with human reasoning. Slowly, she began to understand patterns. The weapon had multiple triggers, and Earth was not the only target. Other planets had already fallen without warning. A sense of dread filled her. Humanity was not just at risk. It was a target in a galaxy-wide game of power and domination. Lena realized she had to act quickly. The aliens' plan was bigger than she thought, and if they recovered their weapon, Earth might not survive another strike. Suddenly, she heard a sound behind her, a low, rumbling vibration. Alien soldiers were returning. Lena's instincts kicked in. She ducked behind floating consoles, holding her breath. The soldiers passed, their glowing eyes scanning, their movements precise and terrifying. Lena knew she couldn't stay. She needed a way out. She found a maintenance shaft leading to the lower levels. It was narrow, dark, and dangerous, but it offered a path away from the alien patrols. As she moved through it, the shaft trembled. Something massive moved above, likely the remaining council members, or perhaps the weapon itself. Lena's heart pounded. Each step could be her last. Back on Earth, panic grew. Cities monitored the sky for signs of alien activity, while governments debated evacuation protocols. People prayed, hoping that Lena's warning was enough. But no one truly understood the scale of the threat. Inside the shaft, Lena found another control panel. She hesitated, unsure what it would do. But curiosity and urgency pushed her forward. She activated the panel, and a holographic map of the alien system appeared. It showed weapon placements, energy nodes, and patrol routes. Lena's eyes widened. She now had a chance not only to escape, but to strike. She memorized the locations quickly, calculating the safest route to her ship. But a shadow moved across the map. A council member had detected her intrusion. Lena's blood ran cold. She had to move faster. As she ran through the corridors, Lena remembered the device she had used to disable the weapon earlier. It was unstable, but still active. She clutched it tightly, hoping it could help her one more time. Alien energy coursed through her fingertips. Every step made the device hum louder, as if warning her that it might overload. Suddenly, a massive explosion rocked the building. Part of the ceiling collapsed. Lena barely rolled out of the way, dust and debris covering her. She looked back. Fires burned through the hallways, alien technology sparking wildly. Chaos had fully consumed the alien capital. For a brief moment, Lena allowed herself to hope. She might survive this. She might reach her ship and return to Earth. But she knew better than to trust hope alone. Humanity's survival depended on action, not chance. Finally, Lena emerged into the outer corridor leading to the docking bays. Her ship was there, sleek and small compared to the towering alien capital, but fast and deadly in skilled hands. She ran, dodging falling debris, alien patrols, and unstable energy fields. She reached the ship, punched in the launch codes, and felt the engines roar to life. The docking bay doors slammed shut behind her. Lena exhaled, tears mixing with sweat on her face. She had survived, but the fight was far from over. From orbit, she watched the alien capital burn. The galaxy's shadow had been pierced, but it would not go quietly. Lena knew that the aliens would rebuild, that they would seek revenge. Earth was only temporarily safe. The war had only just begun. She opened a secure channel to Earth. "Prepare for the worst," she said, her voice steady despite exhaustion. "They are not finished. And neither are we." On Earth, the message spread like wildfire. Governments mobilized, scientists raced against time, and humanity braced itself for the coming storm. Lena's warning had given them a chance, but it was only a chance, a fragile thread against the overwhelming power of the aliens. As Lena piloted her ship away from Zereth Prime, she allowed herself a brief moment to reflect. Humanity had survived the first strike, but the shadows of annihilation still loomed. She knew that the next move would be even harder, even more dangerous. But she also knew one thing: humans never gave up. The unexpected turning point had set in motion events that no one could predict. Lena had survived the alien capital, but the galaxy's danger had only just begun. And Earth, once quiet and safe in its corner of the universe, would never be the same again. The shadow of Zereth Prime stretched across the stars, a reminder that humanity's true battle was only starting. And in the silence of space, Lena made a vow: humanity would not be defeated, not now, not ever. The stars stretched across the sky like a vast ocean, but Earth's orbit was far from calm. Satellites and space stations registered waves of alien energy radiating from Zereth Prime. Every reading sent shivers down the spines of Earth's scientists. Lena Marsden's warning had arrived in fragments, but it was enough to ignite a flurry of activity. Humanity had survived the first strike, but the clock was ticking. In the United Nations Emergency Chamber, officials moved quickly. Scientists and engineers worked at multiple consoles, translating Lena's partial message, analyzing alien energy signatures, and preparing defensive protocols. The urgency in the room was palpable. Dr. Elena Royce, a leading astrophysicist, tapped rapidly on her holographic keyboard. The energy readings are growing exponentially. If we don't act in the next few hours, we could be hit again, maybe even harder this time. General Marcus Vallon, head of Earth's Space Defense Forces, leaned forward. We've mobilized the fleet, but without a clear target or an exact timeline, we're operating blind. Lena's intel is incomplete. Meanwhile, Lena piloted her ship through the debris field surrounding Zereth Prime. The alien capital lay in ruins below, fires burning across the shattered landscape. Her eyes scanned the control panel, tracking alien energy nodes. She realized the Council had other weapons hidden, ones even deadlier than the first. She needed to warn Earth and prevent another strike. Lena transmitted a secure channel message: Earth's weapon nodes, 3 locations, time limit 1 hour. The transmission reached Earth just as a new alarm blared. Satellites had detected movement from the other 2 weapon nodes. The readings were precise, coordinated, and terrifying. Earth's leaders understood immediately. The aliens were preparing a synchronized strike. Lena's ship shook violently. She had drawn the attention of alien patrols still recovering from the chaos of their capital's destruction. Their ships were larger, more agile, and heavily armed. Lena's training kicked in. She weaved through the patrols, using asteroids and debris as cover. Her ship shuddered under fire, but she kept moving. Back on Earth, preparations were frantic. Scientists and engineers worked to decode Lena's coordinates and create a defensive strike plan. Civilian populations were ordered to shelter, space stations moved to safe orbit, and the Earth fleet readied weapons they had never hoped to use. Time was slipping away. Lena knew she had to reach the first weapon node. She analyzed the holographic map she had memorized during her escape from the alien capital. The node was on a small moon orbiting a gas giant. Lena calculated her trajectory and increased speed, dodging alien patrols that attempted to intercept her. As she approached the moon, Lena realized the node was heavily shielded. Alien energy fields rippled across its surface, making a direct strike nearly impossible. She studied the alien technology, using her understanding from Zereth Prime to identify a weak point. With precise maneuvers, Lena navigated her ship to the node's base. She deployed a hacking drone, guiding it through narrow vents into the core of the weapon. Her hands flew across the control panel, inputting sequences she hoped would disable the node without triggering a premature explosion. Minutes stretched like hours. Lena's heart raced with every second. Then, the drone transmitted confirmation: Node 1 disabled. She allowed herself a brief moment of relief, knowing this was only the first step. Meanwhile, the other 2 nodes were already active. Earth's fleet engaged alien forces attempting to defend them. Space battles erupted in orbit and near the gas giant. Human ships, smaller but faster, darted through energy fire, dodging alien lasers and plasma blasts. Lena's ship maneuvered toward the second node, located near a dense asteroid field. The aliens had fortified it with energy shields and automated defense systems. Lena's calculations were precise. She piloted through narrow asteroid gaps, dodging fire and launched hacking drones again. The second node resisted her efforts. Alien countermeasures were more advanced than Lena had anticipated. Sparks flew across her control panel as the drones struggled. Lena's hands trembled, but she forced herself to focus. The countdown in her mind was relentless. On Earth, leaders watched in agony as the energy spikes approached. "We might not have enough time," one officer shouted. Humanity's defenses had never been tested at this scale. Lena, with a deep breath, accessed the node's core directly, bypassing standard security protocols. She forced the energy flows to destabilize, causing the node's shield to collapse. Explosions rippled through the asteroid field as the node self-destructed. Lena's ship shook violently, but she escaped the blast just in time. Only one node remained. Lena's final target hovered near the edge of a massive nebula. Its energy signature was immense, feeding from surrounding stellar matter. She realized that a direct approach would be impossible. Thinking quickly, Lena activated a series of diversionary pulses, creating false energy signals to draw alien patrols away. She navigated into the heart of the nebula, her sensors struggling to penetrate the dense gas and electromagnetic interference. Alien ships pursued, but Lena used the nebula to her advantage, dodging and confusing them. The final node came into view, larger and more dangerous than the previous two. She deployed multiple drones, coordinating them in a precise sequence. The countdown in her mind was nearly complete. Lena could feel the pressure building, every second critical. The final node resisted her efforts, but Lena's determination was stronger than any fear. She forced the drones to overload the node's power core. Sparks flew, energy arcs leaped, and finally, the node began to destabilize. The explosion was massive, shaking the nebula and sending shockwaves across space. Lena's ship barely escaped, her body trembling from the force. But the weapon system was finally disabled. The countdown had ended. Humanity had survived. For a moment, silence filled space. Lena floated, exhausted but alive, looking at the ruins of the alien nodes. She knew this was not the end. The alien council would rebuild. They would adapt. But humanity had gained a crucial advantage: knowledge, resilience, and hope. On Earth, the relief was overwhelming. Leaders hugged, scientists cheered, and the fleet returned to orbit with cautious triumph. Humanity had survived the countdown. The galaxy had seen that humans were not to be underestimated. Lena sent one final transmission to Earth. "We've survived the countdown, but the galaxy is watching. Prepare, train, unite. Humanity's real fight begins now." As Lena piloted her ship towards safe orbit, she allowed herself a small smile. She had completed her mission, but the shadows of the galaxy still loomed. The aliens would not give up, and humanity's struggle had only begun. The countdown had ended, but the war had just begun. And Lena knew one thing for certain: humans would fight, adapt, and survive, no matter what the galaxy threw at them. The silence of space was broken by the hum of Lena Marsden's ship engines. The galaxy stretched infinitely before her, but the remnants of Zereth Prime's devastation glowed ominously in the distance. The alien council may have been shattered, their nodes destroyed, but Lena knew the threat was far from over. Humanity had survived the countdown, but the final moments of annihilation were yet to come. Lena's ship moved through the debris of the destroyed alien capital. Broken structures floated in orbit like ghosts, illuminated by fires and sparks. Her hands were steady on the controls, but her mind raced. She knew the aliens were regrouping. Somewhere out there, hidden deep in space, a new weapon or trap could be waiting. She had to act first. On Earth, the reaction was mixed. Relief had swept through the planet, but governments remained tense. Military strategists warned that the aliens were likely tracking Lena's ship and could strike anywhere at any time. Humanity's first survival had been miraculous, but survival alone was not enough. It was time to take the fight to the enemy. Lena had other ideas. She analyzed the alien energy signatures she had memorized from Zereth Prime. She realized the Council's weapon was designed not only for destruction but also for control. Any planet that resisted could be wiped out instantly. She could not let the aliens recover. She had to prevent another annihilation before it began. Her ship's sensors detected movement. Alien patrols, larger and faster than before, surrounded her position. Lena engaged evasive maneuvers. Lasers and plasma bolts cut through space, missing her by inches. Sparks flew along the hull of her ship, but she dodged with skill born from years of training. Then she saw it, the alien flagship emerging from the nebula. Towering and ominous, it pulsed with dark energy. Lena knew this was the source. The Council had retreated here to consolidate power and strike again. The clock was ticking. Lena's mind worked quickly. She had a plan. Using the knowledge she had gained from hacking the nodes, she could infiltrate the flagship. It was risky, but she had no choice. Humanity's survival depended on her success. She activated the stealth systems of her ship and approached undetected. The flagship's defenses were intense, but Lena navigated through narrow corridors of debris and energy shields. Every second brought the risk of discovery. Every step could trigger annihilation. Inside the alien flagship, the Council was in disarray. Their members, furious at the destruction of Zereth Prime and the loss of their nodes, shouted in chaotic vibrations. Energy flowed through the ship's core, preparing another weapon, this time capable of targeting multiple planets simultaneously. Lena's arrival was unnoticed at first. She maneuvered her ship close to the core, deploying drones to hack the main control system. Sparks and holographic symbols erupted around her. Her fingers flew over controls, forcing sequences into the alien system she had memorized. Alert alarms blared. The Council had detected intrusion. Alien soldiers moved quickly, trying to intercept Lena's drones. The flagship shook violently as defensive systems activated. Energy fields rippled, and the ship's corridors filled with sparks and blasts. Lena's heart pounded. This was the final countdown. If she failed, Earth, and perhaps more of humanity, would be destroyed. She focused entirely on the sequence, bypassing safety protocols, overriding alien logic. Sweat dripped from her brow. Every second mattered. The flagship's weapon hummed, growing in power. Lena could see the energy signatures converging toward Earth. She had only moments. Taking a deep breath, she executed the final override. The drones infiltrated the core, triggering a cascade failure in the alien energy system. The effect was instantaneous. Energy arcs exploded across the flagship, cascading like lightning. The Council members were thrown off balance, their glowing forms flickering wildly. Alarms blared as systems overloaded. The weapon's energy spiraled out of control. In the control room, Lena saw the final moments of annihilation, flashes of light and energy tearing through the ship. But instead of reaching Earth, the weapon backfired, its force collapsing inward. Explosions erupted across the flagship, tearing it apart from the inside. Lena's ship rocked violently, but held. She maneuvered away just as the flagship erupted in a massive flash of light, the energy scattering in all directions. Debris flew past her, glowing and burning, a chaotic storm of destruction. She barely escaped, her ship battered but intact. Back on Earth, people watched the sky in awe and fear. Satellites captured the explosion's aftermath. The alien flagship, the Council's weapon, all gone. Humanity had survived the ultimate test. Cities erupted in cheers, but leaders remained cautious. Lena's warning had been true. The galaxy was far more dangerous than anyone had realized. Lena transmitted a final message. The flagship is destroyed. Council neutralized for now. Humanity survived, but the galaxy is watching. Prepare, train, unite. This is only the beginning. As she watched the destruction from space, Lena allowed herself a brief moment of relief. Humanity had survived annihilation. The galaxy had seen that humans were not weak, that they were resilient and cunning. But Lena knew this was not victory, only survival. The war for humanity's place among the stars had just begun. She piloted her ship back toward Earth, reflecting on everything that had happened. The unexpected turning points, the impossible challenges, the close calls, they had all led to this moment. Humanity had stood against annihilation and lived. And in that survival, a spark of hope had been lit across the stars. From the ashes of Zereth Prime to the shattered flagship, humanity's story was being written in light and fire. Lena Marsden had changed the course of history, proving that even against unimaginable power, humans could survive and fight back. The galaxy was no longer safe, but humans were ready. And Lena knew one thing for certain: they would never be silenced again.